Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are going to start in a couple of upcoming seconds. Taking it an opportunity, I would like to share my screen. Let me share my screen. Yes, I hope you see my screen, and let me switch into presentation mode. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the 60 Days of Data and AI initiative powered by community. My name is Ilgar Zarbaliyev, and I'm so excited to be part of this learning journey with all of you. This initiative includes more than 100 live sessions, just covering Microsoft Data, AI, Fabric, Power BI, certifications, practical learning, contests, and community networking opportunities. Throughout this series, we will focus not only on exam preparation, but also on building practical skills that you can apply in real world projects. If you would like to learn more about the program, please visit the official link shown on the slide. This one, aka.ms slash database. Before we begin, let me briefly introduce myself. I'm Microsoft Data Platform and Microsoft 365 MVP, Microsoft Certified Trainer, Community Lead, and Community Organizer. And my name is Ilgar Zarbaliyev. And I actively work with Power BI, Microsoft Fabric, AI technologies, and data analytics training. So today's session focuses on the PL-300 Power BI Data Analysis Associate exam certification, especially the Prepare Data, the first module section of the exam, actually the practical part of this exam. I would also like to highlight another exciting opportunity for the community, the Data Visualization World Championship. This competition allows Power BI and data storytelling enthusiasts to demonstrate their creativity and analytical thinking. The competition includes multiple rounds and concludes with a live finale in September. I highly encourage everyone interested in reporting and storytelling with Power BI to participate because these activities greatly improve your practical analytical skills. Now let's begin discussing the PL certification itself. PL-300 is Microsoft's Power BI Data Analyst certification, and it's a role-based certification, meaning Microsoft expects candidates to have practical hands-on experience with using Power BI. The exam measures your ability to prepare data, model data, create reports, analyze insights, and manage Power BI solutions. In this session series, we'll focus on the core skills required to succeed in the exam. Microsoft currently offers several important role-based certifications related to Power BI and Fabric. PL-300 focuses on Power BI data analyst responsibilities. DP600 focuses more on Fabric analytics engineering, including enterprise analytics and semantic modeling. DP700 focuses on data engineering within Microsoft Fabric. Although these certifications are connected, they target different job roles and technical responsibilities. As a Power BI data analyst, Your role is to transform raw data into meaningful business insights. So you are expected to create easy to understand visualizations, enable self-service analytics, and collaborate closely with business stakeholders. This certification also expects candidates to be comfortable using Power Query and DAX because they are fundamental technologies within Power BI. And this certification validates both technical knowledge and practical business-oriented analytical skills. The PL-300 Power BI Data Analyst Associate exam is divided into four major skills areas: prepare data, model data, and visualize and analyze data. Each represent approximately 25 to 30% of the exam. Manage and secure Power BI. This section represents around 15 to 20%. And this means that every domain is important. But today's session will mainly focus on the prepare data section, actually theoretical part of this section. Okay, now a little bit in depth. So here we can, in this slide, we can see the detailed breakdown of the exam objectives. The prepare data section includes connecting to data sources, profiling data, cleaning data, transforming data, and loading this data into Power BI. And the second part, model data using Power BI, it focuses on relationships, calculations, optimization, and DAX. The third module, visualize and analyze data using Power BI, focuses on creating reports, storytelling, and identifying trends. The last module, management and security, focuses on workspaces, governance, permissions, and deployment. Today, we will concentrate specifically on the prepared data domain because it forms the foundation for everything else in Power BI. Before diving into deeper into the technical topics, let's quickly review what Power BI actually is. Power BI is Microsoft's business intelligence platform that allows organizations to connect to data, transform it, analyze it, and share insights. It includes Power BI Desktop for report creation, the Power BI service for collaboration and publishing, and Power BI Mobile for accessing reports everywhere. Together, these three components create a complete analytics ecosystem. Okay, Power BI is now part of the broader Microsoft Fabric ecosystem. And Microsoft Fabric brings together data engineering, data warehousing, data factory, real-time analytics, and Power BI into one unified SaaS platform. One lake and acts as the central storage layer for Fabric workloads. For many users, Power BI becomes the presentation layer where all analytical insights are consumed through reports and dashboards. This slide illustrates how Power BI works end to end. We begin with data sources such as Excel files, SQL, databases, APIs, cloud services, or SharePoint. And Power BI Desktop is used to connect to the data, transform it, build models, and create reports. And these reports are then published in Power BI service, where users can collaborate, share dashboards, schedule refreshes, and access content through web and mobile applications. We now move into one of the most important PL-300 topics, getting data. A Power BI data analyst must understand how to connect to different types of data sources efficiently and securely. And this includes understanding authentication methods, connectivity options, refresh strategies, and storage modes. In real world scenarios, data is usually spread across many systems. Power BI supports more than 275 connectors, allowing us to combine information from multiple platforms into a single semantic model. So using Power Query, we can clean, transform, and shape the data before loading it into Power BI. By default, Power BI imports a copy of the data into the model without modifying the original source. One of the key concepts in PL-300, Power BI Data Analyst Associate certification, is understanding storage modes. Import mode stores data inside the Power BI model and generally provides the best performance. Direct query or direct query keeps the data in the source system and queries it live, which is useful for real-time scenarios, but may reduce performance. Dual mode combines import and direct query. Direct Lake or Direct Lake is optimized for Microsoft Fabric Lakehouse scenarios. For most report building situations, import mode is typically the best and most flexible option. After connecting to data, we must properly configure the connection settings. This includes credentials, privacy levels, gateways, and parameters. Parameters are especially useful because they make reports more dynamic and reusable. For example, they allow us to switch easily between development and production environments without rewriting queries. Okay, at this point, we will move into the live demonstration. My aim in this session is to provide theoretical information about the PL-300, Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst Associate exam. In addition, I would like to demonstrate one practical real-world tip, as some exam questions are often based on practical scenarios like this that I'm going to demonstrate. I'm also sharing my Udemy practice test link, which will be available for free to support your exam preparation. You can find the link and also phone number in YouTube chat text a little bit later. Okay. So what I'm just going to demonstrate is all about using slicers and what if parameters in Power BI. Slicers and what if parameters improve report interactivity. Slicers allow users to filter report data visually and dynamically. What if parameters enable users to simulate different business scenarios and perform interactive analysis. And these features greatly enhance self-service analytics and user experience in Power BI. Here, I'm coming to the end of my theoretical part of my session, and I'm just going to open my Excel file that I'm going to use as a data source for my Power BI desktop file. And I'm going to give a little bit info about this data set, and then I will start my demonstration. So let me close this one. And here, let me open my Excel file. This is the Excel file that I'm just going to use as, say, I'm just going to use as a, say, data set. So let me give a little bit info about it. So here you may see different worksheets like these stores where the necessary information about my stores can be found. So I have my store IDs, store names, the located city name, latitude. Sorry, once again, there was a disconnection. So I'm just going to share my screen once again. And maybe it will be repetition, but anyway, I'm just going to explain it once again. So now this is my these stores dimensional table, right? Okay. Here you can find the necessary info about my stores. And then I have my D products. All the necessary information related to products can be found here. Even here, I have my price, sizes, colors, gender, brands, subcategories, categories, and product names. There are 340 products. And then I have my D customers, the next dimensional table. The necessary information about my customers can be found here. And then I have three fact tables. Actually, I'm not going to use this F purchasing and F expenses one. I'm just going to use F sales fact tables. And then I'm not touching the currency F, the currency H, and sales plan worksheets. If you pay attention, my calendar in this data source is missing. But if you pay attention to this B column, we can see date values. This is selling dates of products. And also here I have my shipping date, which is the shipping date of sold products. So let me just close this data uh, set Excel file and let me open my Power BI desktop file. So here I'm just going to use this study file that's called study file using slicers and what parameters in Power BI. I'm just going to use this one. And here I'm just going to refresh the path to my Excel data sets, right? And let me also show you the completed one Power BI desktop file where you can see the completed version of my Power BI desktop file. And at the end of our demonstration, we'll get this kind of, you know, uh, report. For example, when we are going to change the data slicer, the visuals are going to change. Here we have demanding scenarios. And also here we have our pricing scenarios. And as soon as I'm selecting the demanding scenarios, I can see the selected values in cart visuals here, and also the changing in our, say, Power BI desktop files. Now, I'm just going to the switch, I mean, move this Power BI desktop file. Okay. Now, what I'm just going to do is I'm going to open my this one study file using slice and what parameters in Power BI desktop file. And here I'm going to open one new page, and this is going to be called uh, scenario managers. Scenario managers, something like this. And here, before getting started with our demonstration, actually I have started this, already this one. So I'm just going to my Power Query Editor window. I'm here under Home. I have Transform Data, clicking on this. And Power Query Editor window is going to open. If you pay attention here, I see this kind of message, which means that I need to refresh the, say, data set. This is what I'm just going to do. So here I have my data source settings. I'm clicking on this. And let me click once again. Here I see this window, say change source. And I'm going to click on browse. And this is my first session file, so-called sample retail dataset. Just double clicking on this and say OK and close. Now, what I need is just navigate a little bit here. You pay attention here. I see this kind of, info. I mean, for example, this question mark. So I can click on this, refresh all, and the dataset is going to be refreshed. That's it. And say close and apply. Thus, I change the path to my data set. Now, in scenario managers page, actually, we can call it scenario analysis. Let me call it like this, scenario analysis. Now, what I can do, I can just go to insert, say text box, and here I can add scenario analysis name, say scenario analysis. Let me select this one, and it's going to be 20, and I can arrange the size of text box. And here also, I can change the color, the color of text color, right? So I hope it's okay. Then I can select this one and say bold. So it will need adjustment once again. So I hope this is okay. Okay. Now the next step is just adding one date, slicer. So from here, I have my slicer. Let me select this one, and I'm just going to make a little bit smaller this one. And from my calendar, I'm just going to select date. Actually, I have forgotten about this calendar. Let me go to my table view and let's select this calendar. And here, if you pay attention, I have my variable X that defines my maximum date, which is selling date, right? And here also, I have my minimum date, which is also selling date, this one. But if we go a little bit deeper in F sales, we mentioned that this is my minimum date, and this is my, say, just a maximum date, shipping date. So it means that shipping date must be the maximum one. So here, let's go back to our calendar, and maximum is going to be my, say, shipping date, and commit. Thus, a little bit changes must appear in my calendar table. And let's also taking it an opportunity, let's go to model view. And here, all the necessary just, relationship have been built. Relationships have been built. For example, here I have my calendar. There is a relationship between calendar and F sales table, and also D products F sales table. So we'll talk a little bit about later, actually in the second session. So all the relationships have been just built. So let's go back to our report part of our Power BI desktop. And now I'm just going to make some changes here. So from this part, what I can say, for example, I can just give a little bit effect. So let me activate this shadow, and I'm just going to select this one. And then what I can do is just let me also make bold this date one. slicer header. I think it will be okay. And now I would like to give a little bit info about the DAX measures. Here you can find different DAX measures. For example, under key measures, we have total sales measures. Total sales measure is giving us the total sales of amount column in F sales. So here, so this is what we are going to get as a sum. Okay, so now I'm just going to add one table where I'm going to write my unique, the one measure, which is going to call like a scenario, total sales scenario S. So for this purpose, I'm just going to use not say if I mean some function, but I'm just going to use some x function. So for this purpose, I'm saying enter data, and I'm going to call this table as total sales, or just I can simply say uh, scenario sales, right? Scenario sales, scenario sales, and say load. And then under this group, I'm just going to write my new measure. So here I can find scenario sales, okay, and say, after selecting scenario sales, I say new measure, and let me write total sales between parentheses, it's going to be S and echo. Here, I'm just going to use SUMX function. I will explain this function a little bit later. So I'm going to select my table. This is going to be my F sales table, from where I will calculate the total sales. And for expression, I'm just going to say quantity in F sales table times by, here I'm just going to use related function, as there is a relationship between F sales and D products table I mentioned a little bit earlier. Related function helps us to extract the necessary prices of each product from D products table. So I'm just going to say D products and price. Closing parentheses. Let me close once again. And thus, I'm just getting this, measure. Actually, I can add one simple cut visual. I don't see cut visual here, simple cut visual. In this case, I'm clicking on this, say restore default visuals, say OK, and thus simple, cut visual is going to be available. For example, let me add these total sales and Control C, Control V, total sales F. And from here, let me remove this one and add total sales S. So actually, this is given in this format. If I'm just going to, let me select this one. If I say like this, I hope I will see these values. So let me remove this one, and let me also just decrease the number of this one to 0, and also this one to say 0. And here, what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to delete it from model, and thus scenario sales is going to up. Okay. The purpose of using SUMX iterator function is integrating Power BI, what parameters into my model, into my DAX formula, just to get the correct total sales, right? Okay, so now what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to add one slicer using what if parameters. For example, let's say that, let's imagine that our sales is expected, some increasing is expected in my sales quantity, or some decreasing is expected in product prices. So in these cases, what will be the total sales of my products? So to answer these questions, we use what if parameters, right? So now let's add two slicers. So for this purpose, what we are going to do, just simply, we are going to say, sorry, we are going to add two parameters, so-called demanding scenarios and pricing scenarios. So for this purpose, I'm going to modeling and new parameter numeric range. And I'm going to call the first parameter is like demanding scenarios or demanding scenario. And data type is going to be decimal number. And my minimum is going to be minus because some decreasing also can be, it's also possible, can be expected. And this number a little bit later are going to be displayed in percentage, right? Then my maximum value is going to be, say, 0.35. It means 35%. And my increment is going to be 1.5 percentage, and default value is going to be 0%. And here I have to be very careful. I have to be sure that add slicer to this page is checked and say create. And new slicer is going to be just added. Then what I can do, I just select this one from home, format painter, and say just apply here, and the you know uh, format is going to be applied. And let's go to table view and let's find these demanding scenarios. And here we have demanding scenarios. Just pay attention. Using the generate series function, some values have been generated here. Let me select this one and select this percentage view. And here also I have my demanding scenario values. I'm just going to also, let me select this one, and yeah, and I have to be sure that the, yes, format is percentages. Going back to report view, and I'm going to add one more parameter, numeric range, and this time it's going to called pricing scenario, right? Pricing scenario. And also it's going to be decimal number. My minimum value is going to be minus 0.005, 5%. This is the starting point of decreasing. Okay, and maximum value is going to be 25%. My increment is going to be 0.15. So 1.5%, and default value is going to be 0. And I have to be sure that this is checked. Add slicer to this page and say create. And now I'm just going to use format painter. And what I can do, I can just, decrease the size. Okay. This is what for now I'm just going to get. If you pay attention, when I scroll the scroll bar, nothing is displayed in percentages. So the reason is that pricing scenario and pricing scenario values are not given in percentages. I hope this now it will work properly, right? So let's go back here, and we see that everything is a little bit perfect, right? So let me decrease this one, for example, and let me, okay. Okay, so anyway, when we are going to, let me add here just one visual. This is going to be chart visual. And when I'm going to add chart visual, and these demanding scenario parameters will have no effect. So I will explain it why, and then I will fix it. So let me add just one, say, cluster column chart. And this is what I'm just going to add. Okay. And here I'm going to add to x-axis these stores. These are going to be my store name. And also I'm going to add my total sales to y-axis. And also I'm just going to add total sales s. So let me select also this one. These are equal numbers. By the way, we can make some changes here, taking it an opportunity. So let me decrease the size of titles. And also from here, we can remove these ones from x-axis, and from y-axis, y-axis, we can, remove this one. Now I think it's okay. Also, we can, apply formatting, which is much more better. However, we'll need to decrease the size. Okay, now it's okay. Okay. So it's time to make the necessary changes in our DAX formula. So let's go back to our total sales S under scenario sales group, table. And here we need to make the necessary changes that these slicers, what the parameters had the necessary impact on these visuals. So for this purpose, I'm just simply going to delete all of them and say sum x. I'm going to select my F sales table. On new line, I'm just going to open one parenthesis, say quantity, and this is going to be F sales quantity times by, I will explain it a little bit later, 1 plus demanding scenario value, closing parenthesis, once again, times by opening parenthesis, related, and this time I'm just going to select the product's price times by, actually, I'm going to close this one and say times by opening parenthesis 1 plus pricing scenario value. And now let's say commit, and thus we see the necessary changes here. And as soon as I'm going to, change this demanding scenario, and visuals are also going to just changing, right? And also it will be displayed based on the selection on these three slicers. Now it's time to explain this, DAX formula. So let me explain this DAX formula. So first of all, we have to know that some x function, DAX function, is an iterator DAX function. So it goes row by row through F sales table and calculates the expression for each row. Then sums all results together. We can think of it like for every sales transaction, we calculate adjusted sales and then add everything together. Now, let's go with F sales quantity, right? For example, in F sales table, let's go back to F sales table. For example, this product, tights type 6, Reebok, has been sold in the number of 6 pieces, right? So let me go back. So this is that quantity, okay? But when we select this demanding scenario, right? When we select this, demanding scenario slicer, the selling number is adjusted. So, for example, 9%, or let's say 0.5, something like this. Okay, let's say 10, actually. Okay, let's select this one. For example, let's say that the selling quantity number is expected, at 10.50% increase. So it means that if I say 1 plus this percent times by the normal quantity, so it will give me the necessary adjusted quantity, right? So thus I'm finding my adjusted quantity, thanking to this demanding scenario with parameter just slicer, right? And also the same here. Related function gives me the necessary price for selected, all, I mean, the products. So it's very clear. But regarding this pricing scenario value, so based on this selection, it adds this selection value with 1 and times it with prices. Then it gives us the adjusted price. So adjusted quantity times by adjusted price, and sum of all of these gives me the total sales of scenario, right? So this is the way that this DAX formula works. Okay, and this measure is very useful when we use it for scenario analysis, for forecasting, for simulations, for business planning. And it helps us to answer questions like what happens if demand increases by 15%? Or what if prices decrease by 5%? Or how would total sale change? So this is helping us to answer these kind of questions. So now what we can do, we can make a copy of this. So let me make a copy. And here, instead of, say, store name, we can add a subcategory from the products. Let's add. And also here, we can add, let me make one more copy. And let's say like this. And here, I'm just going to add just my date from the calendar. Of course, here I'm not going to use hierarchy. So this is what I'm just going to get. Actually, also here I can change it. Doesn't matter. So what else we can do? We can change the color of bars, but we don't need it for now. And to be sure that just to see from visual point of view the selected scenario, what we can do, we can add some, card visuals. So let's add card visual. And here, what I'm just going to do, I'm going to select demanding scenario value, and let me add it here. And if you pay attention, it's in this format. So let's go back here, demanding scenario value. I hope it should be like this. And let's go back. Okay, it works now. So we can decrease the size, call out value, let it be 20, which is okay. And also we can make some changes, if it's necessary. For example, let's make it demand, and we can change the, number. I mean, the category label size. So also we can add some effect. Let's add it. And it's going to be this one. And also let me make a copy. And I'm just going to add here the pricing scenario value. Okay, the same. So let me find it here and let me change the format. I hope it will work now better. So last but not least, what I can do, I can select all of them and then from format, let's say align and distribute vertical and also align left. So this is what we get syncing slicers and water parameters in Power BI, say this top. So let me go back to our uh, PowerPoint slides. And thank you everyone for joining today's session. I hope this session helped you better understand the PL certification structure and especially the prepared data section theoretically, from theoretical point of view, actually. And please continue practicing hands-on exercises because practical experience is one of the most important factors for success in PL-300. And I will be here in the chat for next 2 or 3 minutes, and I'm just going to share the Udemy link with the voucher. And I look forward to seeing you again in session second, on June 22nd, 2026. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Let me close. And if you follow the chat, so this is the link I'm just going to share. And also this is the voucher you can use for PL-300 exam questions, right? So I wish you all the best and see you again in next session.